Hi, I'm Alicia Robinson, the Riverside City reporter with the Press Enterprise, and I have here with me Rusty Bailey, who is a Riverside City councilman from Ward 3, and he came in first in the mayoral election Tuesday night. Thanks for joining us, Rusty.
Thanks for inviting me.
Just wanted to ask you a few questions today as kind of follow-up to last night's election. I guess, first of all, it's likely if you were to win the runoff in November that you would be one of the youngest mayors in Riverside history. And some people might argue that maybe you're too young to take the job. How do you counter that?
Well, you have to be 18 and a registered voter to run for elected office at the local level. So that's the first answer. The second answer is I would encourage anybody to look at my resume and the work that I've done and the experiences that I've had at every level of government, including serving in the military as a helicopter pilot and going to West Point. And obviously being a native Riversider, I think, carries with it a lot of experiences and connections that go beyond my years.
Okay. And then what do you think is going to be the focus of the runoff campaign? Well,
I think the same focuses that we've encountered through the first phase, the first election, and I've knocked on 10,000 doors, and so I know what the people, the public, are asking about, and been able to answer those questions. And so there's some issues out there that we've been talking about, the fiscal, nature of the city. We've got the budget hearings coming up at council over the next month, so those issues will come forward, and we'll be able to, to show the public how well we are. When it comes to the budget picture, how well we're doing in the state of Riverside. I say we're the most fiscally responsible and responsive government, local government in California, and I would encourage anybody to come and be a part of those hearings on the budget over this next month. So that's one of the issues. And then, as I mentioned to you last night, one of the issues that I think we need to work on and prioritize is our streets, our roads in the state of Riverside. Have been in disrepair for the last few years. That's probably the number one municipal core function of our city that I would say the public is interested in us working a little bit harder at.
Okay. And you mentioned fiscal responsibility. Now, I think some people in the community have been concerned about the debt level with the Riverside Renaissance Public Works Initiative and just other debts that the city has been carrying. And then the proposed budget, which the council is about to have a hearing on, actually spends more than the current fiscal year budget. How do you convince voters that you would be frugal as mayor with, the things that you've participated in on the council and this budget that you're about to decide on?
Sure. Well, first of all, I point them to the reserve fund that we have, and that's still a large amount and a percentage that's higher than 15%, and that's what most bond raters look at when they look at a fiscally solvent city or municipality. They look at how much reserves in percentage to the general fund. So we have a healthy reserve fund. I think people have expectations of the city to be responsive. We had 200,000 calls for service or close to that last year in 311, and so the expectations are high for government service in the city of Riverside because of the Renaissance and other things that we've initiated over the last 5 years. And so we're going to continue that level of response with a smaller staff. We've cut our staff from 2,500 to 2,000, and we're continuing to increase the output, increase the productivity with the great staff that we have and the good leadership and the new leadership with Scott Barber. So, some of the things that we're continuing to work on is the economic development plan and executing that and bringing in more sources of funding and revenue for the city to continue its operations. But, I would encourage the public to participate in the budget hearings and the budget process and look forward to, solving some of the issues and challenges that we may face.
Okay. Well, and then let's say you're elected in November. Just boil it down for people. What are a few key things you would do in your first 100 days in office?
First 100 few days in office is to continue to reach out to the city and to make sure that I'm as accessible as possible as I've been during the campaign. Knocking on their door, they appreciate that. People appreciate when you come and look at them face to face and answer their questions at their doorstep. And as the mayor has done that with Mayor's Night Out or Walk with the Mayor, I would continue those efforts. I would continue the efforts in being as transparent as possible. I brought e-comment, which is an accessibility and transparency issue for the council to be able to get input from the public from their homes. So if they can't make it down to council at night, they can provide comments on any item on the agenda to the council, and we see that on our dais at every council meeting. I would continue to make sure and work with the council members from the wards and spend time with them in their wards, looking at some of the issues that they have, looking at some of the challenges they face, and being that bridge to the city and representing the entire city versus just the ward. I think that's the main difference between the mayor and council members. But, just participatory governance and encouraging the public to get more involved in their city.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll be seeing you out there in the next few months as we head toward the runoff in November. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.